Ja, there will be translation.
There'll be a translation in the back. Okay.
Degenen die geen Engels verstaan, die kunnen naar achter gaan. Waar Shamata die gaat vertalen in het Nederlands.
Hare Krishna. Bhagavan Nrsimha Dev ki jai. Shri Nrsimha Caturdasi ki jai. Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj offers a pair of very beautiful prayers to Lord Nrsimha Dev. We find these in the 5th canto. So Prahlad Maharaj prays, Om Namo Bhagavate Nrsimhaya Namas Tejas Tejase Avir Bhava Vajranaka Vajradangsta Krabhasayan Randaya Tamo Grasa Om Svaha Abhayam Atmani Bhushta Om Kraum. And then in the next verse, he prays, Om Svastiyastu Vishvashakalo Prasidatam Dhyanto Bhutani Shivam Motodiya Manascha Bhadram Bhajata Dadhokshaje Aveshitam Nomati Rapya Haituki. So in the first prayer, Sri Prahlad Maharaj is saying that deep within our heart, karma asayam, there is the root of karma, the root of fruitive activity, the root of our karma, our material desires, the root of our attraction to sense gratification, also the root of our inclination to speculate, because speculation and sense gratification naturally go together. First, in order to enjoy our senses in newer ways, we must speculate. And also, after trying to enjoy our senses, we suffer. And that also provokes speculation. How to end this suffering, how to perhaps even become liberated from this material world. People's minds go along that line for some time. Oh, life is so bad, I tried to enjoy, I could not. But this is also simply selfish. He's only thinking of himself, how I can become free, how I can become saved. So therefore even this type of liberationist speculation, it is called mumukshubhi, one desiring strongly to be liberated. Even this will lead one back to sense gratification inevitably, because it is also selfish. So this is all due to the fact that we have in the core of our heart this karma bija, seed of karma. And how can it be removed? Well, of course, everyone here is devotee, new devotee, old devotee, just beginning devotee, or soon to become devotee. But if you've come here to this Hare Krishna center, if you have participated in this chanting, even if this is your very first time, if by now you have chanted Hare Krishna, or at least stayed here in this room so that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra floods your ears and you've not gone away, this means you're a devotee. This means you have attraction to Krishna consciousness. So, as devotee, then we know that we must practice sadhana bhakti. We must overcome, as Krishna says in Gita, Vita raga bhaya krodha. We have these obstacles in front of us. Raga, rag, that means attraction to sense gratification. Bhaya, we have fear, because we've accepted this bodily concept of life. So naturally there is fear. Fear of death, fear of old age, fear of disease, these things. And then krodha, frustration, because we are so passionate. What does Krishna say? Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. So out of the same rajoguna is coming two things, one after the other. First kam, which is the same as rag, this attraction to the sense objects. And then after we have tried to enjoy, because Krishna warns us, yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yoni evate tadi anteva kauntya nateshu ramate buddha. He says this business of bringing our senses in contact with sense objects, it is not the source of any happiness, of any pleasure. He says it is dukkha yoni. It is the place of birth of dukkha, of suffering only. And someone may argue, no, I feel pleasure, but then Krishna says, adi antava. That so-called pleasure has a beginning and end, so it is not pleasure at all. If it ends, how can it be pleasure? Because then you're left with a memory, you're left with nostalgia, you're left with melancholy. Oh, once I was young and very handsome and strong and all the girls liked me, but that was 25, 30 years ago. Now they don't look at me anymore. But one time I was so attractive. See? That same so-called pleasure, later on, the same thing becomes a cause of distress. Wishing you could turn back the clock. Oh, I wish I was young again. Look at that beautiful girl. Oh, if I was 22 years old, I'd have her by my side in 1 minute. But now I'm old man. She doesn't care. You see? So all these pleasures of youth, later on, they become like poison. So Krishna says, then this cannot be pleasure at all. Adi antava, beginning and end. So therefore, nateshu ramate buddha, one who is intelligent, he'll not bother with this kind of sense gratification. So you see, my point is that even we are mad after enjoying our senses, we will sooner or later stumble and fall into this krodha, this frustration, this anger, this disappointment. It naturally follows. So vita, raga, bhaya, krodha. You see, this is a very logical progression. First there's raga, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want money, I want woman, I want nice car, I want nice big house. I want so many things. And the more one accumulates, then the more fear is increasing. Why? Because what you get, you want to keep. You're afraid you'll lose it. You see? So the more you get, the more you accumulate, the more anxiety, the more fear is there. And the more fear is there, the more trouble that one is undergoing, trouble, anxiety, to accumulate, enjoy. And that's going to lead naturally to the next thing, krodha, frustration. Oh, this is getting too much. I'm in so much anxiety, worrying all the time. I'm not enjoying anything. I'm trapped. Oh, what to do? Krodha. So Krishna says these obstacles we have to overcome. Also in our spiritual life, they're there. Just like one can try to force one's way back to Godhead. One thinks, I will do such excellent service. I will be the best devotee. I will chant Hare Krishna the loudest and the longest. You see? But if this is the mode of passion, then again it will lead to the same thing. Krodha, disappointment. Oh, I didn't get it, Krishna. Where is Krishna? Why is he not showing himself to me? What is this? They told me if I was very serious, serving very strongly, I would become advanced, I would overcome my attachments, but it is not happening. So you see, this is the point. This karma bija is there, and it is there so deep that it even influences our devotional service. Even in devotional service, we keep this fruitive mentality. And this causes us so much trouble. So my point is that by ourselves alone, even if we take to the path of Krishna consciousness, even if we try to take it very seriously, that in itself is not enough to remove this. Although we're told that it must go. Anya bilashata shunyam. You know this. Rupa Goswami has said. All other desires, they must go. Shunyam, become zero. Jnana karmadi anavritam. Propensity for jnana and karma, it must go. Anavritam. Nullify it. Anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. When the only thing that is left is this positive and a very, very fixed desire to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. That is pure devotional service. So we're told what pure devotional service is, but how to get it? Bhagavatam advises us that Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu, yes, nityam bhagavata sevaya. So, bhagavata sevaya, that means, just like now you're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, in the morning you hear, now you're hearing class, this is Bhagavata Katha. In the morning you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, usually in the evening we hear Bhagavad Gita. These are two book Bhagavatas. So Bhagavata Sevya, Shravanadi, begins with hearing, this hearing. And then Bhagavat also means the pure devotee, the spiritual master, guru, and sadhu, representative of Krishna. So we serve. We're doing seva throughout the day, those who are the fixed up devotees, serving their spiritual master. So all day, Prabhupada said it should be 24 hours. Even sleeping, even you sleep, that should be for service. So Nityam Bhagavata Seva, if it's 24 hours a day, then it is called Nitya. Whatever is done daily, as a regular daily function, like chanting 16 rounds, this is Nitya Seva. It means you cannot break it. You cannot say, oh, now summer is coming, that is vacation time. So I get 2 weeks off of work, I'll also take 2 weeks off of Krishna consciousness. I'll go to Ibiza and lay in the sun and play with a big beach ball and all this nonsense, play tennis, swim. And I won't chant Hare Krishna, not for 2 weeks. So this is naimitic then. Naimitic means you've made it into a mundane affair, a temporary affair. But chanting Hare Krishna, serving the deity, all these, the activities of devotional service should be nitya, regulated. But Bhagavatam says, even you take this up, nashta prayeshu abhadreshu, then the dirty things of the heart, they're not completely 100% eradicated by your nitya seva. They're removed. Very much. How much? Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavati sevya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. This means, naishtiki means nishta, from faith. Yes, This Nitya Seva will bring you to the point of Nishta, firm, unbreakable faith. Like last night at the University of Amsterdam, I did a program and there was one Andre van der Braak, and he has written a book called Enlightenment Blues. So he tried to, first of all, be a Buddhist for 5 years, and then for 11 years he tried to be an Advaitist, Mayavadi. He had a guru. And he became disappointed. Well, obviously. If you take to this impersonalism, that will disappoint you because it goes nowhere. But he's thinking that what he has realized by 15, 16 years of attempt in some spiritual path, he thinks that now he's understood that the whole enterprise to know God in any religion, it is all nonsense. And now he has taken up his teaching. He's a teacher at the University of Amsterdam, and now his acharya is a German philosopher who lived about 100 years ago or so, Friedrich Nietzsche. He's the philosopher who famously proclaimed to the world, God is dead. He was the first one to make this announcement. God is dead. I once saw a cartoon. You see Nietzsche there with his beard saying that. God is dead. And then in the next frame of the cartoon you see the gravestone. And on the gravestone it says F. Nietzsche. And then from out of the sky, God is saying, Nietzsche is dead. So anyway, Nietzsche, as this man was explaining in his part of the talk, he gave many arguments to undermine religious faith. And because this person had become disappointed by his own efforts, so he was buying into this. He had become faithless. So his faith, in other words, was fragile, breakable. And that's what Rupa Goswami says about these impersonalists. He says that, you see, the impersonalists, they renounce that which is Krishna Sambandha. Everything, Krishna says, Aham savasya prabhavo, mattaksam bhavachade. Everything comes from me, everything is flowing from me. Everything in this world. Therefore, everything has its sambandha, its connection to me. You see? So this is the art of devotional service. Learning how to connect this body, this mind that we have, whatever we have as a result of our karma, whatever is so to speak ours. Learn to connect it to Krishna in a service attitude, seva. And then Rupa Goswami says this is yukta vairagya. This is then you'll actually be renounced. You see, even a family person can be a vairagi. This is only possible through bhakti. What did Krishna tell Arjuna? Arjuna, he's a family man, he's not Brahmana, he's Kshatriya. His dharma is not to go around like Brahmanas do and ask for donation. His dharma is to rule, to fight, to defend. Kshatriya. Kshatrayate. This word. Chat means harm. And Trayate means to protect, to deliver. This is Kshatriya's dharma. So that no harm will come to the people. So this is his duty. But what did Krishna say? So by conventional varnashram system, the Kshatriya does not accept sannyas. He can take up to vanaprastha. Vanaprastha he can take at the end of his life, after his son has assumed the throne. Then the Kshatriya can retire, take vanaprastha. But generally they did not take sannyas. That was for brahmanas. But even this vanaprastha, that's at the end of life. But here's Arjuna. He's in the bloom of his youth. He's strong. He's in the middle of a battlefield. He's supposed to fight. And he even proposed, let me just walk away. And Krishna said, don't be foolish. What did Krishna say? Chetasa sarva karmasya. Mai sanyasya. Matpara. Buddhiyogam apashrita. Machitam satatam bhava. So what this means is in all your activities, sarva karma, whatever you're doing, chetasa, you be conscious of me. You be Krishna conscious. Chetasa, sarva karmani, mai sanyasya. And everything that you do, you sannyas it for me. Whatever, and that so Krishna says sarva karma. He's including everyone. He's including married men. He's including the wives. He's including even the little children. These are all examples of sarva karma, different activities, different duties. But he says, all these things you can do for me. And that way you become a perfect sannyasi. Rupa Goswami says, yukta vairagya. Yukta means connected to Krishna completely. In renunciation. Srila Prabhupada wrote this nice book, Renunciation Through Wisdom. By knowing, by knowledge, by Krishna consciousness, one achieves renunciation in whatever position one is in. You don't have to say goodbye, you see, to wife and family and everything. Goodbye now, I'm becoming devotee of Krishna. Goodbye. Goodbye, cruel world. No, actually, this is not Gita teaching. You stay in your position, Krishna says to Arjuna. But you be conscious of me, and everything you do for me. And then you will attain me. This is my guarantee. Manmana, you always think of me. Bhavaban bhakto, you become my devotee. Madhyaji, you worship me in all your duties. Namaskaru, and you'll be very humble before me. Offer obeisances to the Lord and to the Lord's devotees. Be a servant. Then mama vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. I promise, I give my promise that you will achieve me. So Rupa Goswami says, but those who reject Hari Sambandha Vastuna, those things that can be engaged in Krishna's service, they just reject, they just try to remove themselves as much as possible from entanglement in the material world, withdraw to some lonely ashram, to some mountain top for meditation, disengage. Rupa Goswami calls this Palgu Vairagya. It is a very weak kind of renunciation. Because you see what you reject, those things that you reject in this way, that is just the other side of the coin of attachment. There's a well-known example in Western literature. It was given by this famous Russian author, Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky, he once proposed, now I tell you, all you people, do not, for the next 1 minute, think of a white polar bear with blue eyes. Do not think of that. Now what will you do? You will think of that. What we try to push away, that is already attachment. You see, if I'm pushing it away, it means I'm also attached to it. The same, it's just opposite from pulling it towards me. I'm pushing it away, but I'm still interacting with this thing. So there must be attachment. There's relationship, there's attachment. Whether it's going this way or this way, it's attachment. So this attempt just to push everything away, Palgu Vairagya. Because it is just me and it. Me and it. Where's Krishna? Where's Krishna in this? Me and it. Me and you. Me and that. You see? Then I'm still at the center. I'm still at the center. I'm still keeping myself. I'm still proclaiming that this is my energy to accept or reject. And this is wrong. Because everything is Krishna's energy. So anyway, this brings us, coming back to the point. Krishna is saying to Arjuna and to everyone, do your duty for me. Yes, this we must do. Accept this. This means you're a devotee. But still, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishkiti. Yes, and then this will bring us to Nishta, where our faith cannot be broken. Like this, I'm speaking of this Andre van der Braak, because he was Mayavadi, he was this trying to remove himself from this world. Therefore, his spiritual position was very, very weak. In fact, after seeing him, talking with him, I don't think he ever had any spiritual position whatsoever. He's a totally mundane person. So unable to give up any kind of attachment. So, here, by practice of devotional service, you can come to this Nishta stage where no one will be able to break your faith. No Mayavadi, no scientist. Even you perhaps are not able to reply very effectively to their nonsense arguments. Even you may just say to them, just chant Hare Krishna, never mind, you're talking rubbish. I don't care to hear this. So whether or not you can defeat them intellectually or not, that doesn't matter. Naishtik, the one who is Naishtiki, he'll not be disturbed by any of this. But still, the verse is saying the dirty things in the heart, yes, they'll be very much removed, but not completely. Not completely. Because it is not in our power, by our own efforts, even in devotional service, to completely purify our hearts. It is not our power to do that. It is Krishna's power. It is only by Krishna's mercy. So coming back to this first prayer I spoke of, Sri Prahlad Maharaj is offering to Lord Nrsimha. Om Namo Bhagavate Nrsimhaya Namas Tejas say, you who are so powerful, full of power, I offer my Nama. I offer my obeisances to you. Vajranaka Vajradangsta. You have, Naka means nails, and teeth, Danta, teeth which are like Vajra. Vajra means diamond hard, powerful as a lightning bolt. Indradev has a weapon called Vajra, which was made from the bones of a great sage who named Dadichi, who voluntarily gave up his body so that Indra could have such a nice weapon. And this produces lightning. So lightning is concentrated tejas, concentrated fiery energy. And with that, Indra even defeated this Vritrasura. Vritrasura means he was an asura who covered the whole sky. He was so huge, but Indra cut off his arms and his head with this Vajra. Took him a long time, but he cut this huge demon's arms and head off. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, dear Lord Nrsimhadev, you have nails and teeth that are so powerful, like Vajra, diamond hard, lightning strong. So please, with those nails and teeth, you enter my heart. Where this karma bija is staying. Randaya tamo grasa om svaha. And you pull out, you rip out this ignorance, because the karma bija, it needs avidya, ignorance, to flourish, to grow. Just like a seed, in order to grow, needs soil. You can't just put a seed on cement and expect it to grow. You must put it in the ground. It needs proper soil, fertile soil, So the fertile soil for the growth of the karma bija in our heart is avidya. And this is primeval ignorance. The ancient ignorance that separated us from Krishna. You see? This is all explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Shrishti Leela of the Lord. Tamasi Buddhi it's called. That intelligence, because Buddhi, intelligence, is natural for the soul. Soul's nature is to be conscious, to be aware, to be intelligent. But Tamasi Buddhi, at some point our Buddhi went into tamas, went into this darkness of ignorance. Went, just like there's that saying, curiosity killed the cat. Cats are very curious. They like to go into dark corners and see what is there. When I was a small boy, my parents were keeping a cat. And this cat once climbed into the automobile motor assembly. You see, because it's very warm there. Cats like warm, dark places to sleep. So this cat somehow climbed up into the motor of a car. Then someone came, sat, and turned the car on. And the fan cut the cat's nose almost off. So, like that, we have this misled intelligence has led us into the darkness. And now we are suffering. And we don't know how to find our way back. Maharaj is praying, remove this ignorance and remove this karma, the seed of karma from my heart. Vajranaka vajradangsta kramasayan randaya randaya tamo grasagasa om svaha. Abhayam abhayam atmani bhuishta om kraum. And then I will achieve actually the fearless state. That song by Govinda Das. Obhaya charanara vindure. When we've achieved Krishna's lotus feet, that is the only fearless position. As long as I am in this ignorance, as long as karma bija is there, then there must be fear, because I am thinking I am this body. I am thinking I belong to this material world. Martyaloka, place of death. So I must be haunted by fear. I must be haunted by the fear of loss. Loss of this body, loss of possessions, loss of family and friends and near and dear and all of that. So only when this is removed, then all fear is gone. Just like once Srila Prabhupada was challenged in one preaching program, some upstart person demanded, do you know everything of Srila Prabhupada? And he said, yes. And then this person was surprised. He said, well, if you know everything, then you must know the cure for cancer. Which doctors don't know here. So you must know if you know everything. Prabhupada said, yes. So tell us, what is the cure for cancer? Srila Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna. Because by chanting Hare Krishna, then one will give up having to take another body. One will not have to take another body. One will go back home, back to Godhead. And there, no more cancer. No more birth, death, disease, old age. So therefore, no more fearful condition. This is the answer. So Sri Prahlad Maharaj is saying, yes, Lord Nrsimhadev, you please remove this darkness, this seed of karma from my heart. Then that will be the fearless position. And then in the second verse, he turns his compassionate attention to the rest of the world. He's not just praying for himself. Then Om Svasti Astu Vishvasha Kala Prasidatam Dayantu Bhuttani Shivam Matodya Manascha Bhadram Bhajito Hokshaje Aveshtam Yomati Haitukitvayi. So in this verse he's thinking of all living entities who are always in a disturbed condition. The living entities in this material world, are always agitated by the 6 enemies. The 6 enemies of our spiritual life, of our welfare, real welfare, are Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mada, lust, anger, greed, madness, moha, illusion, and Matsarya. Matsarya means envy. Lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. So everyone is always disturbed by these things. Everyone who has accepted body as self must be constantly under attack by these enemies. And is always distressed, always disturbed, always provoked, always restless. These different emotions passing through the heart and mind. You see. So Sri Prahlad Maharaj is praying, let these living entities become peaceful. Let them be relieved of the influence of these enemies. And let them, in this peaceful state of mind, this purified state of mind, let them take up pure devotional service to Lord Adhoksaja. See, now this name Adhoksaja is a name of Krishna, of course. And it is a very significant name. It's composed of 2 parts, actually 3 parts. Adhoksaja. Now generally we take this Adhoksaja. Generally it means that one who is infallible, one who is always transcendental, never falls down. This is the general understanding of the meaning, Adhoksaja. But when you look at it more carefully, then this meaning comes out more abundantly. Adho Aksha Ja. 3 parts to this holy name. So Adho means to push down. Aksha means the eyes. So the eyes are the symbol of all of our senses. You know? Just like we may be talking, I'm explaining something to you. And you're listening and it's hard to follow. But suddenly you say, oh, I see. Now you didn't really see with these eyes. You see? You saw through another kind of understanding, but still we say, I see. Or in another sense, this is a more sublime sense of how they say I see. But there's another way. Boy will say about a girl, or girl will say about a boy, oh, I'm seeing him, I'm seeing her. That has another meaning. That seeing is, of course, means sex life. But they put this word see to make it sound innocent. Yeah, we're seeing each other. Well, they're doing much more than just seeing. But seeing is a symbol for, all kinds of sensory awareness. So Aksha means these material eyes or material senses. So Krishna, Adho Aksha, he by his presence, his appearance, he pushes down all this wrong knowledge, which is Aksha Ja. Ja means to be born from. So born of this Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha, another word in which this word Aksha is found, eyes. Pratyaksha means sense perception. So mundane knowledge, it ultimately rests on what we see with these eyes and hear with these ears and feel with the skin and smell with the nose and taste with the tongue. So these 5 senses. And this is the basis of our knowledge in the material world, and this is illusion. This knowledge is born of ignorance, not knowledge. So it's not knowledge at all. It's illusion. So Krishna, when he appears, he is adhoksaja. He pushes down this type of knowledge. He reveals himself, and this dispels the darkness of ignorance. So Shri Prahlad Maharaj is praying that let all living entities become peaceful, let their agitation pass away, so that they can engage nicely in the service of Sri Adhoksaja. And by his manifesting in that way before them to receive their service, then they will actually become blessed by real knowledge, and they will become actually happy. So this is his prayer to Lord Nrsimhadev. One prayer is a personal prayer, and another prayer is a prayer for all living entities. So on this Nrsimha Caturdasi day, we should similarly pray for ourselves, for our own personal spiritual advancement. In the same way, may the Lord, who is so powerful that he could kill the most powerful demon that ever existed, Hiranyakashipu, Tanu Bringam, just as if his body was an insect. Tanu means body, Bringam means insect. So all the devatas were so afraid. It is said that if Hiranyakashipu would just glance, his eyebrows would just move, and his eyes would look angrily at any demigod, that demigod would immediately fade away in great fear. Oh, don't look at me that way, please. I'm scared of you. You are so powerful. So even the devatas, they were afraid of him. But when Nrsimhadev appeared, he took this Hiranyakashipu as if he was an insect, like a child. Sometimes bad children, they will catch a grasshopper or something and pull it apart for fun. So like that, Nrsimhadev pulled apart the body of Hiranyakashipu into little pieces, ripped out the heart, threw it, kicked it, pulled out the intestines, made a garland of bloody intestines, and then sat down on Hiranyakashipu's own throne. And then the demons, the rest of the demons, they attacked, and the Lord manifested a form with thousands of arms. And he killed all the demons as they came. So we should pray to the Lord that something like that happens inside of us. Because we're, this name, Hiranyakashipu. Hiranya, what means gold? Kashipu means this, soft pillow. So this is the aim of everyone who has material desires. I want enough money to be able to get whatever I want in life, and I want a nice, safe little cubby hole, some place with a soft pillow I can sleep as I like, and also enjoy sense gratification with opposite sex there. I can do my nonsense very nicely. Hiranyakashipu. So this Hiranyakashipu is there in our heart. But we should pray to Lord Nrsimhadev, please remove this Hiranyakashipu from my heart. And please deliver all living entities from agitation, bewilderment, and let them be engaged in your devotional service. Let the whole world become purified in this way. So this should be our heartfelt prayer on this day of Nrsimha Caturdasi. So I thank you very much for kindly giving attention to this talk. And if you have any questions now, please ask. Yes?
It's said that the fight with Hiranyakashipu and Nrsimhadev was in Indra's palace. I also heard in Ahovalam in India you can see the pillar. So Indra's palace was on earth or in the heavenly planets?
If you didn't hear the question is that it is described because Hiranyakashipu conquered heaven. So he had taken over Indra's throne, that throne that he had been sitting on, that Lord Nrsimhadev sat on, was Indra's before. And so this fight that began with Nrsimhadev bursting out of the pillar happened in Indra's Svarga, his heaven. Yet at the same time in Ahovalam in India, there is a kind of pillar peak, which is said to be the remnant of that very column that Nrsimhadev burst out of. So his question is how these two go together. Well, we have to understand the true nature of this material world. You see, if one tries to see everything by the Shudra process, then it won't be possible. What is Shudra? I was explaining this morning. Shudra, his knowledge is limited to physical matter, spatial relationships, you see, width and height and length, like this room. Therefore Shudras are good, to build houses and things like that, because they're very competent in that type of knowledge. Mass and weight relationships, physics, these things, chemistry. This is all dealing with matter in its grossest state. So, higher intelligent than the Shudra is the Vaishya. Now why is Vaishya more intelligent than Shudra? Because Vaishya has enough abstract intelligence to put value to things, different values on things. You see, even Shudra, he doesn't know the value of things except just physical work. That's all he knows. But a Vaishya is more intelligent, and therefore a Vaishya, you see, in his business, he's not doing so much physical work at all, is he? I remember meeting in Calcutta a Marwari businessman who is living in $1 million all marble apartment in a skyscraper in downtown Calcutta. A very opulent place. So myself and Bhakti Vidyapurna Maharaj went to his home for lunch, and we observed. So Vaishya, Prabhupada said, Vaishya cannot be honest. An honest businessman means no businessman.